Hello everyone and welcome to my corner of the world. Today we have a fun fold or fancy fold, whatever you'd like to call it. So it's like goes like this, and then when you open it up it's kind of like that. So let's see, you'd stand it like this when somebody opened it up. And the neat thing about this is that it will fit into a regular size envelope without you having to sort of fold it differently to try and make it fit. So it will go like that. So let's make a start on this card. So we're going to use a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and this is 7.5 by 4.25, and I've scored it at 2.5 and 5. Now you want to use this lighter weight cardstock when you're making this card. I did try with a thicker card here, and because of this angled fold I found it very difficult to do and to get a really neat finish. In fact, I actually tore the card. So that's why I'm using the lighter card. So then you're going to get your score tool out, and we are going to score corner to corner. Now if you look at this one, you will see that the score lines, let's flip it over, the diagonal score lines go from middle to outside on one side, and then from outside to middle on the other. So in order to do that, I'm going to make sure that my cutting blade is well out of the way, and I'm going to bring my score blade in. So on this side, what I'm going to do is I am going to line the corner of the card up here on the scoring groove, and then this fold, or that score line, is going to go on the other end of it, and you might have to wiggle it back and forth a little bit just to make sure it's all lined up, and then just pop it down and then just run the blade over it a couple of times. And then, as I said, we're going to let's see, run the score line. It has to go in the same direction as the other one. So this one went like this, so this one has got to go like this, and we've got to put this point of the fold over the little groove there, and then down here. Ooh, let's move it up a bit, and then let's start again. I got a bit of reflection. If I get my head in it, I apologize. There we go. So just shimmy it back and forth until you've got all the bits lined up, and then you're going to pop this down and then just score like that. And there we've got our pieces. Okay, now the other thing that we're going to do while we've got the score and the cutting trimmer out is that we're going to need 2 pieces of the crushed curry cardstock that have actually been cut corner to corner to make triangles. So this is 3 3/4 by 2 1/4, and this time I'm going to move my score blade out of the way and bring my cutting blade in, and once again I am going to just put my corners over the groove there like that, close it down, hold it firmly. Now I like to start my cutting a little bit in on the card, because otherwise you can sometimes find that blade hitting the corner will mash the corner up. Okay, so that's how you cut the 2 pieces of cardstock into triangles, and you do exactly the same for the designer series paper. So I have chosen to use the Perennial Essence card, a designer series paper for this card. Now, again, this piece is, let's see, 3 5/8 by 2 1/8, and I've cut it corner to corner. Now, you need to be mindful. It'll be a lot easier if you use a designer series paper that doesn't have a direction. This has a direction. The flowers, you know, I'll go in a certain way. So what I found was I had to cut 2 pieces and then cut them corner to corner to make a pair. So I've got another set of these triangles that I can use on another card. And then all I've done is to use some liquid adhesive just to stick them down onto my crushed curry pieces. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put these folds in. So we're going to pop the folds in, and I'm going to use my bone folder to get a good crease so that the card sits correctly. And then we want to set it up so we're like this. So we've got this piece will come down here, and just gently catch your corners just to persuade them to fold exactly where your creases are, and that way it won't put the cardstock under too much stress. So this one is going to go up like this, and again I'm just going to put my nail in there just to encourage it to fold where I want it to fold, like that. Like, there we go. So that's how your card folds. Now the way that we're going to use it is that we need to do it, let's see, that way. So we're going to have it going, no, I'm going to have it going the other way. That's what I'm going to do. And I'll tell you why in a sec. It makes it easier to fold, to stand up when the recipient gets it if you do it this way, because you'll be able to stand it like this because your greeting is going to be here. It'll make a bit more sense when we get it all decorated up. Okay, so I'm just going to put my folds in, and then we're going to do some sticking down. So my plain triangles are going to go here and here, like that. And I am just going to use a little bit of adhesive. Now, double check that you've got you're going to put your adhesive on the right side. So I want to make sure that my adhesive is on this side. Believe me when I tell you, I got caught out a couple of times when I found that I had accidentally put the adhesive on the wrong side, and I had to cut myself a couple more triangles. So we're just going to lay that down so that it just is in the centered in that panel. And then again we're going to have it has to go this way, so my adhesive needs to go on this side. Pop that down like that. There we go. So that when this folds back like this, you've got this effect here. And then you're going to get the 2 panels with the designer series paper. And once again, you're just going to double check to make sure you put them on the right side. So in my case, my flowers are in the right direction. So I am going to use some dimensionals for this. And let's see, we're going to use my pick tool. And I'm just going to try and put them quite close to those tips so that they're nicely supported. Like that. And I've used up all the individuals, so I'm just going to cut some of the skeleton because this works just as well. I can't bear the idea of waste. And so we're going to pop one in the middle here, and on the corner and on the middle. So that gives us our dimensionals. And let's get the backing off here. And this is going to be my top one, my top left hand. Again, if I get my head in the camera view, I apologize sincerely. And pop that there. Sometimes just being able to line it up, you just need to be able to see. Okay, and then this one is going to go down in this corner here. I am going to do a weeny little bit of stamping, and I've chosen to use the Very Versailles stamp set, and I love this leaf going on here. So I am just going to use the leaf, and I've got the Sahara sand, and I'm going to just ink it up gently. And I'm just going to put some going down like this, because the ink is pale enough that we can always write over it. And then with my envelope, I'm going to put my leaves as well, like that. And then I'm using the greeting that says, have a beautiful day, from the same stamp set, with a scrap of card here and my crushed curry ink. This time I'm going to stamp there, and then there's another little decorative stamp in the set that I want to just fill in my empty space. So I'm going to use again the Sahara sand, and I'm just going to pop some at the top and then just some beneath, like that. And then I'm going to cut this out with the 1 3/8 scalloped punch. I'm just going to position it so I'm getting some of each of it. And then I have a scrap of the crushed curry and a 1 1/2 inch punch, like that. And I'm going to layer the two together with a little bit of liquid adhesive. And I'm done with my stamping now, so I can get rid of my scratch paper. Okay, so now we're going to finish the card off with the decorations. Now you want to make sure that the gap, the opening, is going to go from top left to bottom right, and then that way when you come to stand it up, when the recipient gets it, this is where you're going to have your greeting, and it'll be shown. Otherwise it'll be down here. So we're going to get a one of the pearlized doilies, and that's going to go on there like that. And I'm going to get some of the larger dimensionals, and I'm just going to put them over some of the gaps in the doily, so it sticks down onto the base card. And I want to have them quite close together, but they must just be on that left hand side. I'm even going to pull that away so that you can see it's just on that left hand side. And take the backing off, and then I can get this, and I can just center it up on my doily, press firmly, and we've got it in there like that. Alrighty, so I've got a couple more little embellishments. Number one is I'm using some of the lovely crushed curry. This is like, what do they say it's called? They call it crinkled. That's it, crinkled binding. And it really is lovely. And I'm going to stick that on with a glue dot. There they are. and then pop that up there like that. And then my final flourish is a couple of pearls, and I'm gonna just kind of stick them down here. Just pop them randomly like that. So there we have our really pretty card. Again, I don't know quite what you'd call it, but it's kind of a twisted fold, and when it stands, when the recipient gets it, it will, let's see, stand up like that so that they can read the greeting and what you've written inside. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this card. I certainly enjoyed sharing it with you. The dimensions and more details are available on my blog, and there's a link to that at just beneath this video, and it'll take you to my online store as well. So thank you very much for joining me today. Bye for now.